Abusia mincha na minsanso emu akwaba eme channel so. Abusia for enen lawyer of all lawyers. Lawyer Tsatsu Tsikata. Abusia eye black rasta atumi adropo eye information bia e chese in ano eden. Yes, information ano eden kakra. O cheni semu Tsatsu Tsikata. Chese plot kesie bi ekọ so a anka yeyi papa yi ede afiri ho. Abusia we de ma mekasa wa nsem no ano eden ti pese yekọ na ya yetie ensem a eye black rasta credit goes to eye black empire media ono ankasa ede tudwa efa eye Tsatsu Tsikata ho na abusia ensem na no eden we a very emotional person abusia ebia ensem no wontumi entie ni na ema no ensi na hwan mo na a plot or this kind plot against eye Lawyer Tsatsu Tsikata yente ni na message be se wa se obe subscribe dia my notification bell for podcast update aha edo so aye be media gh bomodi aso be subscribe dia my na be share no so dia my sabusia ha yini atem eni die kwan so ya adwen na ye kire yente nsem a black empire media black rasta what me drop nsem na no odin yes nsem na no odin ankasa yente ni na message ya
plot to murder Tsatsu Tsikata on COVID. How many of us remember Tsatsu Tsikata? One of the youngest lawyers at his time. He is the father of rap musician Manifest. This is Manifest. And that was Tsatsu Tsikata. And now Tsatsu Tsikata and his son Manifest. There was a time I was coming from the UK. And on the plane, he was sitting in the business unit, you know. And when I was passing him, he recognized me and then he stretched a leg out. He said, "Oh, Black Rasta, we appreciate you for all the good work you're doing. You know, you are such an enigma." I looked at him and I went down with one knee as if to say, "Would you marry me?" to a woman. And he was surprised at that thing, that style. I said, "You know what? One knee is on the ground, on the floor, to thank you for everything you've done and for you to bless me with the wisdom, the legal wisdom that you have been able to pick up and the experience you have picked up both politically and non-politically." He looked at me. Probably he told himself, "This is too much for one man to ask. Do you know what experiences I've gone through? If I bless you with that, then I've given you everything on earth. Let me reserve it for my son Manifest." This is Tsatsu Tsikata. I love him. To those who don't know him, run the dossier and see exactly who this legal luminary is. He was born on October 1, 1950. He's 7 years older than Ghana. In fact, 6.5 years older than Ghana. He is a renowned Ghanaian lawyer, academic, and former public official, often called the law luminary. He is widely considered one of Ghana's most brilliant legal minds. He was born in Keta, in the Volta region, a town that I love so much. He entered Infansipim school at the age of 9, so early, and graduated from the University of Ghana with an LLB, first class, at the age of 18. What a man. He earned a Bachelor of Civil Law, BCL, with first class honors from Oxford University. What a man. He was the CEO of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, from 1988 to 2000. And that was where all his problems started. Before then, he was a long-time law lecturer at the University of Ghana. And in 1988, he accepted to push a foot through the door of politics. And he got into the GNPC. Oh my God. Hey, he served as a legal counsel for the NDC in major landmark cases, including the 2013-2021 presidential election petitions. He taught many of Ghana's current top legal figures, including Supreme Court judges and the current Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. He's known for defending political figures and taking up human rights causes during military rule. This is Tsatsu. Finally, in April 2026, oh yes, this month, a few days back, he was honored by the UPSA Law School and GMPC for his enduring contributions to law and the energy sector. He has recently cautioned against using criminal prosecution for political vendettas and called for reparations regarding the SAL group. We're talking about the Santro Kofi, Apafu, Likpe, and Lolobi residents de-enfranchisement during the elections. Tsatsu Tsikata's career is defined by a rare mix of academic excellence, corporate leadership in the oil sector, and high-stakes constitutional litigation. This is Tsatsu Tsikata. Tsatsu Tsikata. Hey! Now, everybody knew him as a very, very smart lawyer. He taught a lot of the lawyers. In fact, he's the lawyer's lawyer. And there was a plot to assassinate him. Kufuor bundled him and slapped a charge of corruption on his head. Many people saw it to be a political assassination of character and threw him behind bars. Hey, a law lecturer. They didn't care if he had even lectured Angel Gabriel or Sasabon Sam. They threw him into common legal custody. Many people were not happy about this. They said it was a political witch hunt. Therefore, they started a movement called Free Tsatsu Tsikata. We saw the banners all over. We saw the stickers. And we saw those who pushed it. Everybody came to the understanding that he was being victimized for one reason or the other. But now we have come to understand why they first and foremost decided to put him in there. For all the period he was there, he never even drank water from the prison, let alone eat food. Because somebody from the ruling party who loved him had hinted his wife. Today there was a meeting. And in the meeting, it was said that this whole orchestration is simple. We put him there so that his family will not be around him and it will be easy to assassinate him. We are going to drug, better still, the technical term is lace his food. He will not suspect anything. We will lace it. Food that all prisoners are supposed to eat, water that they are all supposed to drink, we will lace it. And he will die quietly in his sleep. This was somebody from inside. So the prison was only a Trojan horse. A deception. But somebody leaked it to him. And they kept it secret. Tsatsu's wife immediately started to cook food 3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. And Tsatsu was held in a containment area where about 11 people, prisoners, were, including a 16-year-old. Jesus. He said he looked at a 16-year-old and he thought about his own children. And he cried deep inside him. But he came to the understanding whilst in prison, why he was in prison. He never ate any food there. Else, he would have been dead body by now, as ultimately orchestrated and calculated. Tsatsu Tsikata, my brother, my sister, just as Kufuor was about to leave power, he decided to free him. clouded in amnesty. Ahumobro. Unhuaye mobo. Enti pienako. But Tsatsu said, never. I am not coming out of this prison on amnesty. I am staying in prison to fight my case legally, win it legally, so that there will never ever be a tag of criminality on my record. Amnesty does not dissolve or absolve you from criminality. It only gives you sympathy, not even empathy. Tsatsu refused. He stayed and fought it in court until he won and came on. Let's listen to him. What really happened? It's a very short tape. Watch this.
All right, abusia of family na nugusa o se say on subscribe no like no show jumedi am afro so ensa etuma akabe. Do not forget to click on the notification button so any update we drop bia no won so ensa ebetumi akabe family no ensempi na ekoso egudu enko ne kutin sembe ekoso e wo family no so.
The cell that I was in those 5 months was actually like the holding cell, just near the sort of entrance. So it wasn't right inside the prison cell. It was like the holding cell. And there were 11 of us, I remember.
In one cell?
In one cell, yeah. And so, you know, I mean, most people were sleeping on the floor and so on.
You slept on the floor?
But I had a bed.
Okay.
And I suppose that was a favor done to me, you know. I had a bed. And I think there were probably 2 or 3 beds at different corners of the room. I had a bed in one corner. I think the cell leader also had a bed and so on. And, you know, really, I didn't feel out of place, let me put it quite frankly. I mean, there was a young 16-year-old. A 16-year-old shouldn't be in an adult prison. But there was a young 16-year-old who had been brought in with his older brother. I think there was some contempt of court against them arising out of some civil proceedings, you know, some quarrel with some other people. And he was in prison, you know, 16-year-old. And like I said, that experience of seeing how, I mean, the law doesn't work for a lot of people. And I was relatively, you know, privileged, you know, having the ability to have lawyers represent me and so on and so forth. For many of those people, they didn't have the opportunity of even counsel to represent them. So there was a lot that was very sobering about that whole situation. And sobering in the sense too that it enabled me to see, you know, what a privileged life I had, you know, by God's grace. What a privileged life. The fact that my wife could be bringing food every day to me in hospital, in the prison, and again, an aspect of this which I can say, you know, even without having asked my wife's permission, she had been told that, and she'd been told from very dependable quarters that she should not allow me to eat in the prison.
Okay.
Because there could be some plans around my eating the food regularly from prison.
As in poisoning you?
That is correct. And this was not just told as a little story or a petty gossip. It was told by somebody who knew what he was talking about. And I'm very grateful to that person. I would not mention his name for reasons which in this country we should understand. I will never want to mention his name.
So they not only persecute you, now they put you in jail and they wanted to kill you whilst there.
That's what we were authoritatively told. And so my wife daily was determined, whatever her responsibility, she had her own, you know, company to run. Every day she brought me food. And that again was how come on the Sunday when I had that attack overnight, she was bringing me food only to learn that.
You had an attack, what happened?
No, you know, on the 15th of November, when I had the asthmatic attack in the cell, through the night, you know, and really there was nothing that could be done. By morning, she had come to bring me food. Then she was told that I was in the hospital. And she comes to the hospital and realizes that I was in a really bad state. And from the discussion she had with the prison director, God bless him, he's again passed, may he rest in peace, she was allowed to find an ambulance. The hospital didn't have an ambulance, the prison didn't have an ambulance. But she was able to get an ambulance arranged from Koforidua, which then came to pick me up from the hospital and so on, and first to 37 hospital, intensive care. They weren't sure they could handle the situation. By evening, I was moved to the cardiothoracic center at Kolibu, where they had more facilities to be able to take care of that situation. And clearly I was in a very bad situation from, you know, talking to the doctor, Dr. Sribo, afterwards. It was a very, very bad situation I was in.
He had a close shave with death. Close shave. His wife came in one day to give him food and realized that he had had an asthma attack and was almost gone. Was taken to the hospital, and she rushed to the hospital and realized that she was on time to see the husband before his quit notice to heaven. Hey, no ambulance. They had to go to Koforidua and bring one and take him all the way to another hospital. The intensive care unit couldn't even handle. They had to go to the cardio, heart. And according to him, the doctor, Dr. Sribo, finally told him after he recovered that you had a close shave with death. Your case is extraordinary. Maybe God kept him to be able to tell this story. But he never ate food from there. He was in prison for 7 months and beyond. And then there was an appeal. And finally, somewhere in 2016, correct? The case was decided and a not guilty tag was slapped on him. And he walked proudly, clean as a whistle. This is Tsatsu Tsikata, the luminary lawyer who wanted to poison him. Why did they want to take him away? Was it because of his prowess in the law game, the legal battlefield? What exactly was the issue? But today, he's not too active politically, maybe because of his age. He still calls a lot of shots. From where he sits, he's still able to direct things. Recently, my brother, my sister, he was part of the people that legally removed Tokon. He, alongside Thaddeus Sori. He had a very beautiful time. And at the end of the day, they heaved a sigh of relief. He was awarded and honored at UPSA and GNPC for all the wonderful things he's done for this country and beyond. This is the law, the lawyer of lawyers, Tsatsu Tsikata, born on Nigeria's Independence Day in 1950, 10 years before Nigeria was born, and 7 years before Ghana was born. Congratulations. You are still alive, and we appreciate you alive. It's the Blackpot, aka Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power.
abusia ahana ebrede bese dwumadi na ebe so se unsubscribe na like no asho dwumadi ama from so ensa etum akaben. Do not forget to click on the notification bell so be any update be drobia no won so ensa ebetumi akaben. So for kan mo so best political news onya na so PO Jim da na be na to always remember PO Jim da no be pick up best political news say be the echo in the eba e Ghana amanye so mo so for makram